Hello. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Is John going to be absent?
John is absent today, yep.
It's 2:00. Everybody ready?
Ready.
We'll call this meeting, July 8th meeting of the Warsaw Board of Aviation Commissioners to order. We will entertain a motion for the May minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, approvals, or changes? Okay, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Okay. Next, we have the May claims. I gotta find those.
Are you guys there? I'm not hearing anything.
Can you not hear us, Mary?
Oh, I can hear you. I don't know if someone else is talking that I just can't hear.
Turned off or?
It should be on, Dan. You can't hear Dan at all?
Hello?
It sounds like he's very far away.
Okay.
There. This claim form is dated for June. Where's the May?
For May and June. If you keep going back, there's,
I found, there's the May one. Okay, the prior two claims for May. Oh, boy. Looks like it's $139,799.28.
I believe that is correct, Dan.
Okay, do you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the prior twos for May.
So moved. I'll second that.
Okay. Comments, questions? All right, all in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, approved there. Then we have the, this is. I don't see. Okay, I don't see that we have a separate,
It should be in your July folder, Dan.
okay,
I thought it was.
yeah, I didn't see it with the May, other May information.
You're good, Dan.
Okay, the June, okay, I do have that one, the June, I was looking for the other, the fuel stuff, but, I didn't see a May one. So the June prior twos. $110,743.79.
I believe that's correct.
Yes.
Okay, motion for approval of those?
So moved. Second.
Ernie, first, Steve second. Comments or questions?
No.
All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, approved. Now, where is the other one?
Are you looking for the specific checks, Dan?
I'm looking for the ones that are for fuel sales. I don't see.
Yeah, when we moved to the new system, we don't have the ability to print that report the way we used to, and we're still trying to work. Sorry. Yeah.
So we don't have
So with the old FBO software, we were able to print that as an invoice. When we switched to Titan and the new FBO software, we don't have that ability anymore. And so Kelsey and I are still trying to figure out how to print a report that shows you guys what those fuel costs are.
those numbers included in that too.
No,
So,
because we don't write checks anymore. They're doing an ACH withdrawal from the account. It's just a direct withdrawal where we used to have to write checks.
who's the rest of the board? The fact that we're looking for?
No,
You say no?
no, this one does not show that. It's one of the requests and something that we've been working with Atlas on so that we can report it to you. Right now, the only way that we can show those, those bills being paid would be to tie the invoices to our bank statement because we don't have an actual report that we can run like we used to. And that's, we're working with Atlas to try and figure that out, how we can show you that in our report.
Okay, so how are we supposed to handle approval for that, those claims to pay?
I don't know yet.
Okay,
We're working
so
on
we
it.
have to punt?
This is a growing pain. It's one where, once we have the solution, hopefully next month, we'll be able to approve the 2 months that would affect.
Okay. You have any questions about that?
And Kelsey can read you she can log into the bank account and read the amounts to you if you'd like to approve them today.
I take it they have not been paid?
They have, no, they're, it's an automatic withdrawal. It's an ACH withdrawal now, where we used to have to physically write a check.
Okay, then I think we should hear it.
Okay.
Okay, so on June first, we were invoiced for $33,390.16 for one load of fuel.
That's for Atlas, right? I think that's for original.
And you said June first.
Correct.
Yeah. If we go back, this one was actually dated May 27th for a load of jet fuel, 33,377.28. And then on June first, they also EFT drafted for our Atlas software, $395. And on June sixth, they drafted $820. That was for our USB card swipers, so we could run credit cards with the program along with, the encryption fee for those.
So we could swipe credit cards at the terminal.
And what was that date again?
June sixth,
Sixth?
yeah.
So during that period, we had two fuel claims, one for $33,377.28 and $33,390.16.
There might be one more, Jan.
Yeah, we got more fuel. On June 16th, we also were invoiced for a load of Jet A, $29,815.43.
And what was that for?
One load of jet fuel.
Jet A? Okay.
That was it through June.
Okay. So 3 loads of fuel, for everyone being $29,815.
And they were all Jet A. I forgot,
Okay.
one thing that is new with the new fuel company, a load of Jet A used to be around 7,000 pounds, they're now, or 7,000 gallons, they're now closer to 8,000 gallons. World Fuel just did not, when they shipped us fuel, only shipped us 7,000 versus 8. The new company is shipping us 8. So if you see invoices higher than what you're used to, it's because we're getting about 1,000 extra gallons per load.
Okay.
And how we compensate for that, you know, we have a 15,000 gallon tank. We try to keep it no more than 14,000 gallons. So we've just lowered the threshold of when we order our fuel. So instead of ordering it, you know, at 7,000 or 8,000 gallons, we're ordering it between 5,000 and 6,000 gallons. It hasn't been an issue at all for us yet.
And then a software claim of $395 and a card reader, $820. So motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second. All right. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, now, I see we have Josh and,
Brian,
Brian, okay. And Mr. Sloan, that's our guest, so. Next is the engineer's report.
All right, let me share my screen. Are you all able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. First is, task order number 4 for, runway 927 safety area. You remember we had submitted, the final report to the FAA back in, back from them, the week of June 22nd. So we are finalizing, the report, and we should have, we're hoping to have some of those changes back to the FAA, if not this week, then sometime next week. There was some comments on the recommendation for the aligned taxiway, the approach that we were taking to that. So we're just kind of making a hybrid approach between 2 of the options that we had given them. So once that's finalized and I have all the pretty exhibits, I'll hopefully be able to share that with you all next month, but we're in the process of dating that right now. Any questions on task order 4? Alrighty, for task order 5, glad to say that we received the acceptance letter from the FAA on June 22nd. So now we are just in the process of gathering all the information and for the paperwork to close out that grant with the FAA. So hopefully I'll have all that grant paperwork by next board meeting so that we can also close out this task order. FAA didn't have any comments on the report. That it was just a letter that stated that they accepted the report with no comments. So.
Okay.
Task order number 6, we submitted the grant closeout documentation back in February. Haven't heard anything from the FAA on that, so I'm really just waiting on that one. For Taxway Bravo, there's been some movement on that one. We have received Findon Brown's schedule. Right now, the schedule that they're showing is going from July 27th to October 13th. So if you remember, let me share this with you. This is for this project. So phase 1 is in green, and phase 2 is orange, and phase 3 is in this light blue color. So for what they're showing right now for phase 1, it's showing July 27th to August 22nd for this closure. For phase 2, and I know it looks like the terminal may get closed, but there is access. That's why we kind of chose this dividing line here. There is constant access to the apron into the terminal, so that to be made aware to everyone. For phase 2, that would be right now, as the schedule stands, August 24th to September 16th. And phase 3 would be September 17th to October 10th. I will say that these dates are tentative. One thing that we are working with Nick and Findon Brown on is the potential to actually have the phase 1 work. So that was July 27th to August 22nd. And the runway 927 phase 2 work done at the same time. So we're still kind of working through that with Nick and with Brent. So there is a potential that this could occur. So we're hoping to, we're in the process of finalizing that this week. So.
And Mary, I'll just step in. Mary, Brent, and I talked last week and beginning of this week, and we all concurred at the end of phase 1, when we're actually doing the final mill and fill after the full depth cracks are repaired, there are a few days where we will need to close 927 because the equipment is going to be in the safety area of 927. And so the thought is, if we're going to have to close 927 while we're doing that mill and fill work, why don't we take the full depth crack repair equipment, because they're 2 separate teams, over to the runway and start the runway project while they're finishing phase 1 of the taxiway. And it should shave down a little bit of time that the main runway is closed, and we'll be able to still fit both projects into this construction cycle. So we're working through that. A portion of that is working with the corporate tenants on the field. We want to make sure that we're respectful of them being able to get in and out. If they have to get out and reposition somewhere else, we want to try and be as accommodating as possible. The other benefit of doing the projects this way and kind of coinciding them together, while it pushes out the taxiway project a few weeks on the back end where we might finish a little bit later than originally scheduled, that actually helps the crop dusters. They operate out of the northern end of the field. That's where their chemical tanks and their water storage and everything else is located. And by doing phase 1, then the runway project, then phase 2 and 3, it just gives them a couple more weeks, and they should be complete with all of their work by the time we get up and would be affecting their end of the airport. So it's a blessing on both sides, and it should really help the projects go pretty smoothly. Sorry, Mary, go ahead.
And also, no, I was also gonna say, you know, we obviously have an RPR, or also known as an inspector, that will be out there. So, you know, having 2 projects kind of going on at the same time will, you know, just help with cost as well. So you won't have, you know, this project paying for a hotel and then, you know, a couple months later paying for another hotel, basically in the same area. So try to help reduce costs where we can. So. Taxiway Bravo, I know I kind of through some of that construction.
So any questions about Bravo or 927 right now?
I don't.
No.
Steve? No? Okay.
Also, for the past month, we've been working on finalizing the issue for construction documents, so we should have that to Finn Brown here shortly. Right now, we're still finalizing the dates. I think I've heard from almost everyone, but the pre-con for taxiway Bravo is anticipated for July 20th. I think it'll be at 11 a.m., but not positive on that time. I'm still waiting on one more person to let me know that they can make that. That's why it's not in the agenda, but so a lot moving forward with taxiway Bravo right now. We do have a motion for board approval and Dan Robinson's signature on CHA invoice 58412.7-12 in the amount of $4,360.16. And that is a local share of $109.
Okay, entertain a motion for approval of CHA invoice 58412.7-12.
So moved. I'll second.
Questions? All right, all in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to task order number 9, general services. No update on it this month. 10 for the airport overlay district. Nick, I know there's some stuff going on with that. I didn't know if you would want to talk about that here or later on.
We've got that later on in the meeting. Brian's gonna give us a quick update.
Okay, great.
But
Moving on to
real
task
quick,
order.
do you have things to go?
Oh.
Okay. Nope, we're good, Mary.
Okay. Moving on to task order number 11. I know that we've kind of already talked about runway 927 a little with Bravo, but we did do the bid opening for that project back on May 20th at 3 p.m. Since we didn't have a June board meeting, I just wanted to share the bid results for you. So Finn Brown, it was the low bidder for both the base bid, and then Berks was actually the low bidder for the additive number 1. So additive number 1 is actually changing the mill depth from, in the base bid it's 2 inches, and the additive number 1 is 3 inches. We proposed to do that based off of some of the existing conditions that we were finding out there with phase 1 last year during construction. We noticed that we weren't getting through that top lift of asphalt, so there was kind of a thin layer of asphalt still attached on the existing milled surface. So we thought it would be cleaner to get through that lift fully. So we proposed this 3-inch option. So we were happy with the bid results. As you can see, both contractors were below our engineer's estimate. So that's always good to hear that they are being competitive and keeping each other accountable for those bid prices. Also, in the last month or so, we've been preparing issued for construction documents similar to taxiway Bravo. So we have a couple motions for this one. Again, this project is locally funded, so I just wanted to put that out there ahead of time with these motions, so that's clear. So the first one is motion for board approval on CHA invoice 5841211-17 in the amount of $6,527.08, and the local share is the same for that.
Okay, entertain a motion for approval of CHA invoice 5841211-17.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Ernie, Steve. Questions? All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you. The next is actually moving back to last year's project. This is phase one. We have finally received all of the lien waivers from Findon Brown, so we found all of them in good order. So this is their last payout number 4. And this is releases them from retainage. So this motion for the board is for phase 1 of 97 for the pay application number 4 to Findon Brown in the amount of 25 cents.
That's $39,641.25. You broke up, Mary.
Yes, yep.
okay, I entertain a motion for approval of Findon Brown's pay app number 4 for phase 1 construction.
So moved.
Steve?
Second.
Second, all right. Questions? All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, pass on. Okay.
Take this to the board. I do want to just open it up. I discussed kind of the base bid and additive bid. This last motion is for the contract for Findon Brown for phase 2. I didn't know, I know that from conversations with Nick, him and I are in favor of awarding the bid alternate number 1. I wanted to see if there was any questions or concerns about awarding both the base bid and the bid alternate number 1
And
for.
I'll give a little bit of background
phase
on that
2.
too, Mary.
Okay.
So last year when we did the phase 1 project, I don't know that we ever calculated an actual area, but there were several areas where when we did the 2-inch mill, there was 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch of asphalt left, and we were really worried about delamination. Findon Brown was able to go through with their construction broom and use their blade to scrape most of it off and get most of that off. But looking at it, it was a large enough of an area that we elected to have the bid alternate where we would do the 3-inch mill. That way we make sure we get through that entire layer and have a really clean surface for when we do this mill and fill this year. Last year's bids came in well under what we were budgeting for, and so we did have some significant cost savings, and we would be able to use some of those cost savings to cover the extra inch in the mill and fill for this year. So talking with CHA, we would recommend that we do the bid alternate, but ultimately it's up to the board's discretion. If you'd like to save the extra money, we can definitely do that and put it in the bank for next year in case the prices go up. That's, it's one of those pros and cons. We can save the money. It might cost us a little bit more time if we do have some more issues with that delamination surface, but it's ultimately up to the board.
Ernie, do you have an opinion?
Well, my opinion would be go ahead and do additive number 1, but have Findon Brown do both. Since collectively, they're still going to be cheaper than Brooks.
Correct. They would get both.
I agree. It seems to me that if we split it, and there's a problem with the additive, they're gonna blame Findon Brown anyways.
And I don't think we can with
We
the way
can't
the
split
project
it.
is being constructed, right, Mary? We couldn't split it if we wanted to.
No.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what the question.
They were
What do you
asking
mean by split it?
to split and have Brooks do the additive and Fenton Brown do the base. We can't do that, correct?
No.
It's all or
no.
nothing.
Yeah.
The question
Yeah.
is whether we want to go with a 2-inch base bid or if we want to do the 3-inch.
My opinion, you better do the 3-inch.
Okay,
Agreed.
I
Okay.
agree. All right, let's put that in the motion, please. Entertain a motion for approval of base bid plus alternate one.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
second. Any further questions? All right, all in favor of the motion signify by aye, where we'd be approving Finn and Brown's bid plus the alternate for a total of $1,046,837.80. Signify by aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you all. The last task order I have is task order number 12, and that is for taxway alpha. We are still finalizing the report on that. We've been a little busy with some of the construction and bidding stuff that's been going on, but hopefully we'll have that finalized here in the next month or two. We do have a motion for board approval and Dan Robinson's signature on CHA invoice 584-1212-06 in the amount of $3,358.96. And that is a local share amount of $83.97.
Okay, I entertain a motion for approval of CHA invoice 584-1212-06.
So moved.
And I'll second.
Steve first, second, all right. All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you all so much. That's all I have for today, unless anyone has any questions for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Mary, one more thing. Do we need the board's approval for Dan to sign the construction agreement with Fenn and Brown for runway 927?
Yeah, that would,
We awarded the bid.
I guess they awarded the bid,
We
yes.
just need Dan, we just need approval for Dan's signature on the construction contract for
Yes.
phase 2 of 927.
I make a motion to approve Dan Robinson's signature on the contract.
I always get a little squeamish about approving contracts that I haven't seen.
It's the same one as last year. It's at the attorney right now. And I was out on bereavement last week, so I was not able to follow up on it, so I apologize, Steve.
Well, subject to his approval, I'll second the motion.
Okay. And I'll get it to you.
Okay, the motion has been modified, approved by signature subject to the attorney's approval, correct?
Correct.
All right, all in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Nick.
Yep.
I think that's all we have.
Okay, manager's reports next, and by the way, I neglected to do the roll call. Let the record show that Ernie Wiggins and Steve Smiley and myself are present, John Moore is absent. Manager's report?
Well, as you can see, we've made the switch from total FBO to our new fueling software, Atlas Aviation. I am still learning a lot. Kelsey knows the system a lot better than I do, but I'm still trying to figure everything out. We are doing very good on fuel sales. We are still up 30-some thousand gallons in Jet A and about 2,500 gallons in avgas from where we were last year. And we are about to hit our busy season. Crop dusting is going to start up here in the next week or two. Dave, you might wanna put that out in the newspaper so people don't call asking who's gun running their houses. Crop dusting is gonna start up here before too long. But unless you guys have any specific questions on the fuel usage or the income statement, I know we've got an update on the airport overlay district. Two other quick updates, sorry, Ryan. Did want to let the board know, Victor Iniguez at the FAA, who is our program manager, is no longer our program manager. We got an email at the beginning of the month that said they are reorganizing their office, and we have a new program manager, effective immediately. And we have yet to meet our new program manager. We're working on trying to put that meet and greet together, so hopefully we'll have a little bit better communication moving forward with the FAA. And then, some great news that I know you guys will be very excited about. The self-serve tank is complete, and we are hoping to take delivery in 2 to 3 weeks of that tank. And we're working with Rebel Services, who is a contractor who will be installing and certifying that tank. And then D&D Electric will be the company that is installing the electrical and boring the electric and communication lines out for that. So I don't want to put a date on it, but I'm hoping middle of August we should be up and running on that, which would be pretty exciting to have that going here, going into the end of summer.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have other questions, did you have a question, Dan?
No, I'm just glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's scheduled now.
Well, the next thing would be just an update on the airport overlay district from Brian Strunk. He's with HWC, and we'll let Brian give us a quick update.
Good afternoon, Brian Stump with HWC Engineering, and yes, with the pleasure of just giving an update on the overlay we've been working on. We've had a copy of draft A, and just want to address, give you, let you know some of the comments we received back and things we're doing to move forward. Don mentioned he had just a few comments on just refinements on providing clarity to the ordinance, some phrasing, some definitions to add, so we'll be putting those into the document. Dave caught that section 10.62, just clarifying that the board is not responsible for the cost of the markings and the lighting that are required. And then we had 2 other sets of comments, one from Matt Sandy, the county planning director, looking for more clarity on the board's role versus local zoning, just who's making sure we're clear on who's doing permitting for what on those. And then had some questions really with the height and how we putting in some limits. Right now, the ordinance is, my first draft is always very conservative. And so right now it's looking at requiring permits for any types of things. So if someone comes to me for a deck, why does that need to go through the board? So we'll set up some thresholds for height that will, so it won't be administratively burdensome. So we'll be meeting with Matt on that. And then lastly, we have some comments from Justin dealing with the table 10-61, which is the table that deals with special exception versus permitted uses in different zones. And some of those, his concern is that they were a little heavy-handed for the developments that's in the area. So we meet with him trying to refine that or smooth out how that, adjusting those so we're not being unduly burdensome to the city, finding that balance for when things are needed. So with that, I'll be meeting with them, and then we'll get the ordinance, draft B of the ordinance updated and out to you here, and then very shortly, and then up to, hopefully for adoption at your next meeting.
Getting close to this then, huh?
Fingers crossed.
Good.
Then I've heard nothing but great things with, from the work that Brian's team has done. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to read through that ordinance at all yet, but it's been, I should have sent it, you didn't see it when I mailed it last week? Okay.
That was draft A.
Correct,
Yeah,
that's the only draft, yeah. Yeah. Ernie, I'll send you another copy just so
Did
you
you
have
email
it.
that out, or?
Yes, I did. But I'll make sure you guys have a fresh copy of that, just so you can review it, and then any edits that we make, I'll make sure that you guys receive a copy of that as well, as those edits are made.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And then the only other 2 things, Morrison Aviation Services is the airframe and power plant mechanic on the field. He has requested to put up some signs around his hangar. On the east side of his hangar, he is proposing a 4x8 foot sign. And then on the south side and the west side, he would like to put an 8x16 foot sign. That does fall within the airport's approved sign guidelines. It's well within the size limits, and I would support that. It just helps to advertise his business as people are going by. They know that there's an airframe and power plant mechanic shop up there. He's also requested that the board consider allowing him to put a sign along the ramp fence next to the terminal building so that customers coming and going know that if, they've got a flat tire or something like that, they know who to call in the field, who the airframe and power plant mechanic is.
Okay, question,
Mhm.
the signs you talked about first, for the, where would those physically go?
On his building.
On the building?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys have any other questions?
Yeah, I just have one. I don't have any problem with the signs on his building, but if we allow him to put signs on or outside the fence, what do we say to other people who also want to put signs? For example, I know there's a helicopter tenant. What if they want to put their sign out there?
No one's ever asked us before. That's why I'm coming to the board. We don't have a policy. We've never looked at it. We've never considered it. I personally think it's great to advertise the businesses that are located at the airfield. It lets the public know who the different tenants and operators are there. It is the board's discretion. If you would like to set up, rules, policies, or something like that on size requirements or type of signs, or approve the actual sign design beforehand, that's entirely up to the board.
I think I agree with Steve. I don't have a problem with on the building, but I think we need to study that a little bit further before we start letting other people, and especially if they have to have a business to be on the airport. We're just not gonna let
Yeah.
anybody advertise, but
Okay.
that's my opinion.
No, we definitely don't want anybody putting a sign up, but I think if they have a business directly offering services to the aviation community on field, that it probably something that we ought to look at allowing, but, you're right, we need to get a little thought into it, but, so. Let's separate this. Let's entertain a motion to approve Mr. Morrison's signage on his building. I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor of that motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
And then I'll work on a draft policy update for the current sign guidance that we have in place now. And I'll present that at the next board meeting then. I'll try and get that to you guys in the next couple of weeks, so you can review it before the next board meeting.
I think it might be beneficial, especially for transients that are coming in and don't know what's at the field. So hopefully there's some way we can do this, but, okay, thank you.
And then the only other thing, it's not on your agenda because it walked into my office yesterday, but we have rented out one of our other T hangars. They are asking for a 1-year lease, and then that would turn into a month-to-month, which is the standard for our T hangars. It's a group of brothers out of Silver Lake Claypool, who just purchased a Cherokee 6. It's already at the airfield. They're tied down on the ramp right now, and they would just like to rent one of our hangars. I think it's great. I mean, this is an easy approval in my opinion, so.
Dollar amounts and stuff agreeable?
They're the exact same as everybody else is paying for the T hangars.
So exactly what do you need?
We just need an approval for Jordan Waters to have a land lease with the airport. It would be a 1-year term, and then after that, it's month-to-month, where either party can give 30 days of written notice, which is our standard lease for the T hangars.
Okay, normally, I know you said this happened yesterday, but normally you bring us a actual draft agreement.
Yep, and I can hand It's the airport's standard T-hanger lease. It's what we've used for all of our tenants here the last few years. Normally, we get a request for a hangar and a land lease, and they don't have a hangar or an aircraft. They're looking to buy an aircraft, and this time they actually bought the aircraft and then came looking for a hangar, so.
If it's good enough for you, Steve, it's good enough for me.
What'd you think, Steve?
That's all right.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for approval of, hangar ground lease and hangar lease. What hangar number are we?
It'd be 6 Golf.
6 Golf.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hangar 6G, to Jordan Waters.
So moved.
Okay,
Second?
second, Ernie. All in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And one last
Should
thing.
we just go ahead and sign this then?
Yes. There should be a signature page right there behind.
Yes, I see it.
Steve, I did want to give you a quick update. We're working on a final draft for the hay mowing agreement. We just don't have that finalized yet, but I am working on it, so I'll hopefully have that for you in the next week or two.
Okay.
And thank you again for getting me that draft. That was very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And that's all I have, unless there's something else from the board.
So who is doing the hay mowing out there now, daily?
So we have 2 different parties that had expressed interest, and since we hit the issue with the advertisement, the mowing lease and everything else, we had to get the grass that was there removed, and so both parties that had expressed interest, we divided the airport as evenly as we could, and they're out removing that grass, and so hopefully we'll have everything ironed out before we have a second cutting, and we'll be able to move forward with that.
Thank you.
Anything else from the board?
Motion to adjourn.
Sign. Okay. I guess, we're adjourned then. Next meeting date.
Next meeting is August.
And we don't know if we'll be here back.
I believe that we're still here until,
Okay.
I believe, September. So,
September.
David's nodding, so I'll go
Okay.
with him. He probably knows more than I do, so.
Go back to the regular meeting time.
Yep, second Tuesday at 5:15. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, everyone.
See you all next month.
Bye, Steve.
So long.
Bye, Steve.
So long. Stay cool.